Welcome to part 3 of how to make your drums bang. This is music producer Big Shot here from BigShotLoops.com. If you did not watch part 1 and part 2, I highly suggest that you go back and watch part 1 where I went over how to properly mix your kick drum, and part 2 where I went over and I make some tweaks and adjustments to your snare sound in the drum pattern that I started. So let's hear the drum pattern real quick again. So now we're gonna go over the hi-hats, and let's just dive into it. All right, so just like the snare, the first thing that I'm gonna do with this open hat over here is apply a high pass filter right away. So let's do that right now. Now, any DAW that you're using, okay, which is a digital audio workstation, any DAW or software that you're using has those elements or those effects that you can actually add to each of your channels for each instruments that you lay down. So even if I'm here using Machine 2 software over here, it's the same concept for whatever you are using. So make sure you pay attention and you can model what I'm doing here for the software that you're using. So I applied a filter here to my open hat, and the filter that I applied is a high pass filter. All right, so let's listen to what that sounds like. Now we're gonna go and apply an equalizer, just like the kick drum and the snare. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. The one that I prefer is, of course, the Isotope Ozone 5 equalizer, so I can actually visualize what's going on. So let's just play. Right away, I'm gonna eliminate any low frequency, any of the low frequencies over here. So what I just did with the equalizer over here, wherever it peaked in the visualizer, I accentuated not completely narrow, but I adjusted it until it sounded the way that I wanted. So let's bypass it and hear it with and without, so you can hear the difference. Make sure that you have your headphones on so you can actually hear the difference when I apply the bypass and put the effect back on. All right. So let's play it with. That's without. With. So you can actually hear a slight difference in the sound. So it went to, from when I applied the filter to a little bit more clear, because I eliminate some of the low frequencies on the left over here, and I accentuated wherever the open hat was peaking in the visualizer. All right. Now let's do the same thing for the other hats. so that we can hear them together and see what they sound like. All right, so I did minor adjustments with the hi-hat. So now I'm gonna head over to the mixer and see if the volumes are proper, and I'm gonna show you what I usually do when I have a lot of hi-hats with my drum pattern. This way, everything sits right, is in harmony, and is sitting in its own space for each individual sound that I have in the sequence. So let's hear it. So one of the little techniques that I use is panning. Panning meaning I can bring some of the elements to the left and another instruments to the right. So those two hi-hats over here, I'm gonna push one a little bit to the left and another one to the right. So this way I have a full range of the sound and it sounds fuller. And this way you also position the actual element in its own space with the overall sound. So let's hear everything. So hi-hat one is a little bit to the left to make sure that it sits right and it doesn't interfere with hi-hat two over here. That's a little bit to the right. All right. So everything sounds right, nice and tight. I'm gonna do a little bit more adjustments, and I'm gonna show you one more trick that I do when I lay down some drums to make sure that everything is hitting right, that nothing is going overboard, that nothing is hitting less or more, and etc. So I'm gonna give you a couple more tips, and then you know, I'm gonna make you hear the difference from when I started until now. All right.